In the last class, we had an introductory session on this AD, why data engineer, role of data engineer, right, and the job market of Azure data engineer. Just I'll take 5 minutes what we discussed in the last class. See, cloud is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various form. In delivering data in various form, right? Yes. Yeah. On premises, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure on top of that OS installation, purchasing of database license, installation of database server, designing database objects. To maintain all this, again, we require separate teams like the hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team, database administrators. But here, everything in the cloud. We no need to maintain all this, no need to maintain any infrastructure, no need of any licenses, right? Here, everything in the cloud environment. Data engineers with the help of cloud services. They work on the data and make it structured and useful. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow from source to destination. And data engineers responsible for preparing the data, cleansing the data, transforming data, and processing the data. And the data scientist on the other side, right, is going to strategize for the future, recommendations for the future. He is going to perform data analysis, data predictions, data classifications, data clustering, and recommendation. And data analyst on the other side is for summarizing the data of the past. Summarizing the data of the past and visualizing the data. So this data engineer is going to do all the groundwork for data scientist and analyst. Data engineer does all the groundwork for data analyst and data scientists. More than 80% of the data analysis work is done by data engineers. Data engineering involves what are the sources of data, what is the format of the data, and how to transform or process the data, and what is the destination of the data. Okay. Why Azure data engineer is in demand, right? Why Azure data engineer is in demand? One second, check it here. Why Azure data engineer is in demand and what are the roles of Azure data engineer? Data engineer, right? If you talk about this data engineer, if you talk about any organization who is using Azure for its operations, right? Mainly it is going to hire two people, Azure data engineer and a data scientist. Data engineer is going to create a data warehouse for the organization. And later, secondly, data engineer communicates with the data scientist to understand the business requirements, data requirements, and also communicates with the business team to know the business needs while dealing with the data in the hand. This data engineers keep constantly processing, analyzing, and monitoring the data. He creates data pipelines. Is going to create a data pipelines through which the data is integrated with all the crucial stages of the data flow. He also makes sure that the pipeline is always efficient and secure. Okay, and designing the entire data flow architecture. Designing the entire data flow architecture. Get the role of Azure data engineer, right? Creating a data warehouse for storage of analytical data. ETL extract, transform, and load is the key task of Azure data engineer. Data monitoring. Data engineers make sure that ETL is performed in a proper way. Data is available anywhere it is required. Data security is one also a major responsibility of data engineer. Collaboration and communication, right? They need to communicate with the business team to check the team requires insights. Analytics, some they need to data engineers have to have some analytics knowledge to perform this analysis, and also like automation, certain things has to be automated, which requires minimal human intervention, right? These are the roles of Azure data engineer. And what are the various products of Azure data engineer, right? Data engineering products services. Okay. Data engineering products or services. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault. Azure Data Engineering products or services. Azure SQL, Data Lake, Synapse. In a simple way, this is for RDBMS, this is for file system, this is for data warehouse operations, this is for ETL, cloud ETL, it is for analytics, it is for NoSQL, it is for capturing streaming data, it is for protecting the data in the cloud. So one by one, just I'll give overview about it. Already in the SY session, just I've given the overview about this, some of this. In Azure Data Engineering, Azure SQL is the first one. So it is a cloud RDBMS database, RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is used for OLTP operations. It captures OLTP system captures end user transactions. And next is Azure Data Lake. One more component of Azure for use for data engineering is Azure Data Lake. It's mostly used. It is some distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is data lake. I can say it is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. It is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Understand here, every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Unlimited data storage. First one is unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Secondly, supports all varieties of data. Supports all varieties of data like structured data. Structured data means data which is organized in the form of rows and columns in a structured format like database tables, Excel files. Semi-structured data which is not fully structured, which is not fully unstructured, right? Like XML files, JSON files, and unstructured data. Unstructured data like chart messages, yes, images, videos, and raw text. Supports all formats. Supports all formats of data. Supports all format of data means .txt. Any all formats means like all formats of data, all file formats. TXT, .csv, .json, .gzip, right? All formats of data. So in the case of Azure Data Lake, the case of Azure Data Lake, it's a distributed file system with unlimited data storage, right? You can store huge data, any format of data. But what here, why you go with other, and what you are expecting here is here data in files. Here data in file means okay, means what is that? We cannot maintain relationship. We cannot maintain relationships between the files. Data in files we cannot, here means here we cannot maintain relationship between the files. If data in tables, we can maintain relationship. We can maintain relationship by using primary key and foreign key. For example, if data is form in the form of files, emp.txt, for example, emp.txt file, dpt.txt file, attendance.txt, attendance.txt, right? Yes. Salaries.txt. So this we cannot DEPT, sorry, this is DEPT. We cannot maintain relationship between the files. So we can maintain relationship using tables. For example, tables. If tables, if you got tables like this, for example, orders table, sales transactions, customers, products. So if you got tables like this, products, orders, sales transactions, customers, and products. What is the relationship here between these tables? Means, for example, order of what? Order of what? A product. Booked for whom? Order of what? A product. Booked for whom? A customer. Order of what? A product. Booked for whom? A customer. Order of what? Product. Booked for whom? A customer. Once order confirmed. Once order confirmed as a transaction. Understand here? Order of what? A product. Product booked for whom? A customer. A customer. Once order confirmed is a transaction. So what I'm expecting, so here in Azure Data Lake, we can maintain files, we cannot maintain tables. So I'm expecting, a cloud or DBMS, the two used for data warehouse. I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS that two used for data warehouse. That two I'm expecting parallel processing. That two I'm expecting what? Parallel processing. I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS that too used for data warehouse. That too I'm expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, so I'm expecting cloud or DBMS that too used for data warehouse. That too I'm expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Synapse, Azure Synapse Analytics. Yes. So next is Azure Synapse Analytics. As I was just giving an overview about it. Azure Synapse Analytics for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for analytics, for batch applications, for parallel processing, Okay. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. We have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB, Synapse DB. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. That is Synapse DB. What is Synapse DB? Cloud Data Warehouse of Azure. When to go for Azure Data Lake? When to go for Azure Synapse means data lake? Whenever, okay, Azure Synapse if data is structured, data lake if data is unstructured or semi-structured, right? Yes. So here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. What is Synapse DB? It's a cloud data warehouse of Azure. Next, coming to this Azure Data Factory. Simply, I'm saying it's a cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL of Microsoft. Just like Informatica, Talent, the data stage we have got. Those are on-premises. These are cloud premises. So for example, here I got some OLTP systems, online transactional processing systems. This is data warehouse. But Azure SQL, OLTP systems, Azure SQL, Oracle we got if you go for on-premises, MySQL. MongoDB. These are the examples. OLTP systems, same way data warehouse systems, right? What are the data warehouse systems like Azure Synapse? Teradata, if you heard about Teradata, Netija, Vertica. These are the specialized databases used for data warehouse, right? Teradata, Netija, Vertica. Sorry, Vertica. Where ADF ADF doesn't come in OLTP. It doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in. ADF will be here. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. ADF is an integration service. ADF is an integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. ADF is an integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. OLTP and data warehouse systems. So here, for example, all transactions are captured at where? All transactions are captured at OLTP systems, How to bring these transactions? How to bring these transactions into warehouse systems, right? We have ETL for it. We have ETL by using ETL tools. What are the ETL tools like? Informatica, Data Stage, Talend. All these are on-premise. All these are on-premise ETL tools. But I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF. But all these are on-premise ETL tools, but I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF. Using ADF, we can connect with anything like cloud databases, non-cloud databases, and NoSQL databases. Okay, but I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF. Here it is ETL. But our working style, ELT. But our working here it is ETL, but our working style is ELT. Extract, load, transform. ETL for small volumes of data. For small volumes of data, right? GBs. ELT. Okay. Next is Azure Databricks. It is Apache Spark-based data analytics platform. It is Apache Spark-based data analytics platform. What is Spark? What is Spark? Very high speed processing execution model. It is what is Spark? Very high speed processing execution model to process huge data. Very high speed processing execution model to process huge data, right? Yes. Okay. Features of Spark. Features of Spark, right? Yes. So just I'm not going to discuss all the features now. Mainly like in-memory computation. In-memory computation means right storage and processing both happening at the memory level. Storing the data within the memory and processing the data within the memory. Storage and processing both happening within the memory level. Secondly, massive parallel process. What is it? Massive parallel process. Massive parallel process. Spark is 100 times faster. Spark is 100 times faster. Normal disk processing. Normal disk processing. See, Yahoo has conducted a test. Yahoo has conducted a test. It has taken a table of 100 TB consisting of 1024 columns. Task was sorting. Sorting based on 16 columns. 16 columns. What is the time taken by different things? So Yahoo has conducted a test to check the speed of different things. So time taken, right? Yes. First by Oracle. It has taken around 3.5 days. MySQL has taken around 6 days to process. Has taken 6 days. Teradata, specialized database used for data warehouse. It has just taken 4.5 hours. One more, Netija, it has just taken 3 hours. Finally, right? Hadoop. It has just taken 3.4 minutes. So Hadoop speed is very high speed, right? As compared with Oracle, these have taken days of time. These have taken hours of time, but Hadoop has taken minutes of time. But Hadoop speed is very high as compared with other things. But Spark is 100 times faster. Hadoop, right? Yes, it's faster than 100 times faster than Hadoop. Within the Hadoop, we got map reduces available. Then that. See the speed of Spark. What might be the speed, right? It is taking 3.4 minutes. What will be the speed of Spark? Okay. So that's why a very high speed. So in the total Azure data engineering course in this, right? Total the execution is happening through Spark. That you take Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Synapse, total execution happening within the Spark. Very high speed processing for implementing all these things, right? Yes. So here I said as part of this, so Azure Streaming, capturing and processing high volumes of streaming data from multiple sources simultaneously. Azure Cosmos DB, cloud-based NoSQL database, cloud-based NoSQL database, right? Okay, and we got Azure Key Vault, protecting the data in the cloud. So majorly, these are the main products, right? In this ADF, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks. Second, one second. Okay. Even if you talk about this area of previous versions from the Azure Data Factory, right? I said the zero coding ETL, right? ETL. One second. We talk about this data ADF, right? ADF versions. There were two versions actually. There were two versions: ADF version 1, ADF version 1, ADF version 2, ADF version 2, ADF version 1. It is used to perform EL only, but not ETL. It is used to perform EL only, but not ETL. There were no transformations. There were no inbuilt transformations. I mean, there were no inbuilt transformations. To perform transformations previously in area version 1. Previously in area version 1, a lot of prerequisites, but from area version 2 onwards, there were no prerequisites to perform transformations previously. To perform transformations, some additional services are required. ADLA. ADLA means Azure Data Lake. Analytics are done by, here analytics are done by USQL. What is USQL, right? Unified Structure Query Language. Unified Structure Query Language. And secondly, you need to write, you need to have HD insights. HD insights means nothing but Hadoop insights. Here we have a data flow language. Here we have a data flow language called PIG. Data flows are written and transformations are performed. Data flows are written and transformations are performed. And we need to have, I am talking about ADF version 1. In ADF version 2, no need of any prerequisites. Azure functions. You need to have knowledge about these Azure functions. These are very complex to implement. Next, stored procedures. To perform this transformation, to perform all these transformations, first you should be a developer. To perform all these transformations, you should be a developer. That too should be expert. Scripting. So that too should be expert in scripting. Using USQL scripts. Secondly, using pig scripts. Azure functions. Azure Databricks. Stored procedures. Stored procedures. Now, you need to have a lot of prerequisites previously, but now all these prerequisites are not big scripts, like you need to be done by this Hadoop developer, Azure Databricks, by Spark developer, stored procedures by SQL developer, Azure functions, generally by .NET developer. This is problem with ADF version 1. Afterwards, Microsoft recognized this problem and decided to make a ETL tool, with zero coding. Afterwards, Microsoft recognized this problem, decided to make a ETL tool called ETL tool with zero coding. That's why they launched a new version. New version. ADF version 2. ADF version 2 is a zero coding ETL. Previously in Informatica, 80% drag and drop. Previously in Informatica, 80% drag and drop. 80% drag and drop. 20% writing SQL skills. Writing SQL skills. But in ADF, 100% drag and drop. 100% drag and drop. So understood, right? In ADF version 2, there is no prerequisites. Everything drag and drop. 100% drag and drop. Not even a single line code we write. Previously, we had a lot of prerequisites, but everything got rectified in this new version, right? Yes. So this is that. So coming back. So this is the course content that I am going to discuss. ADF, Azure Data Factory, pipelines, linked services, data sets, activities, transformations, triggers, integration runtime, source control, global parameters, credentials, data flows, different transformations, ADF exercise, around 50 exercises of data science will be discussing, right? All these are the practical exercises will be discussing. And Azure Databricks, before going with Azure Databricks, some basic of big data, basics of Hadoop, basics of Spark, not only basics in brief about Spark, and also like creating Azure Databricks cluster management, displaying cluster, starting cluster, terminating cluster, deleting a cluster. Types of clusters, 3 types, right? Yes. And Databricks utilities, Databricks integration with Databricks handling multiple file formats, and Databricks batch processing, window functions, date functions, historical data load, aggregations, joins, Databricks streaming API. Check this. Databricks Lakehouse, right? And Databricks workflows in Databricks. And Azure Synapse, you can check with this, right? In brief, in depth, we'll be discussing, right? Okay. fine. You can check with this. Azure Data Engineering, the Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark. In brief, total PySpark I'm going to cover in this. Azure Data Factory will be the main discussion. Azure Databricks will be the main discussions. PySpark I'll be discussing, and Azure Synapse Analytics, right? All this. Along with this, I'm going to discuss like Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Streaming. Offerings, each and every session video, soft copy of this class notes, assignments and tasks to work with, WhatsApp group for technical discussions, live interactive hands-on sessions. And apart from this, whenever you get enrolled for this course, you'll get free access to this Python videos, 100 plus Python videos, MySQL videos, Linux, Unix shell scripting videos at around 120. Timings, first 1 week it will be at 11 a.m. Later it will be starting at 10 a.m. Right? Let me make it clear about the timings before you go with the payments. So tomorrow the link will be changing. You are supposed to get enrolled from tomorrow. We'll be starting with the actual things. So yes, from tomorrow the link will be changed. You can see in the chart a big message is given by this online team. Their contact details. They have provided the contact details, the course content details, the payment details, Google Pay, Phone Pay details. If you're done with the payment, don't forget to share the screenshot of your payment to that mail ID that is forwarded. DURGASOFT online training @gmail.com. Yes. Tomorrow, same at 11 o'clock, but with a different link. Check with it. Any queries you got, right? Anyone? Any query? Okay, no queries. Okay, fine. So okay. Some query was asked. Yeah, yeah. Some query was typed, right? Yeah, you can unmute and you can ask your queries, right? Even you can unmute, you can ask. All the sessions will be interactive sessions. This was introductory sessions. I was just typing and showing you. Yes. So in this course, like, so here in this data factory, Azure Databricks, Synapse, and PySpark. The PySpark in brief it will be discussed. So in this entire course, like 2 projects I'm going to discuss, right? Yes. 2 projects will be discussing. Okay. Fine. So tomorrow we'll be starting with the things. So just get enrolled for getting this. Tomorrow onwards, you'll be getting the videos to your Google Drive, notes to your mails. Tomorrow a WhatsApp group will be created. You'll be added to the WhatsApp group, right? So if I'm done with the queries, if there are no other queries, Fabric introduction will be discussed here, right? Yeah, yes, with Airflow. With Airflow, yes. Okay, fine. So I'm stopping for now. Meet you tomorrow. Fine. So get enrolled, getting the link. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Bye.